Donald Trump got the hostages released. Does he deserve vindication for the way he's handled this conflict?
Well, I think that his 20-point proposal I agreed with, as well as the regional partners. And so therefore, that is a good thing. I came out in support of it. This is diplomacy. This is the way that I think that we ultimately will solve what's happening in the Middle East and to have some real and true peace. Now, I've been a big proponent, for example, of the Abraham Accords, and that too was started by Donald Trump in his first administration. Again, it's important, significant, and we've got to give diplomacy an opportunity to work. And just what you just reported is important also. Israel should not continue bombing Gaza. I agree with the president on that. Let's try to see if we can get this thing done. Let the negotiations continue in that regard, at least the clarifications of what the 20 points is. And let's try to make sure we can finally change the situation in the Middle East where you can have a Palestinian state side by side with a Jewish state of Israel.
Well, of course, I don't need to tell you, Congressman, that both parties here have a record of not making good on ceasefire agreements, on any agreements for that matter. That goes for both Hamas and Benjamin Netanyahu. As the ranking member of Foreign Affairs, how much time will you give this before it has credibility?
Well, I think that diplomacy needs more time than just till Sunday, that's for sure. I would think that, you know, a week, a couple of weeks should be able to hash this thing out. And I think that with the aid of Gulf countries and other countries that also have signed off on the 20-point plan, along with the United States and Israel, we should be able to get it done. I think that we're getting close. We're getting very, very close. But of course, the devil is always in the details. Let these details be discussed and rationed out, because you don't want a situation where there's been a misinterpretation of what should or should not happen, and then everything goes kaput and we're back to where we started from. So let's dot every I and cross every T that we can.
Benjamin Netanyahu has been seen as a pariah by many in the region because of the high number of civilian casualties that we've seen among Palestinians living in Gaza. If this is real, Congressman, and this is in fact the path to peace, did we just prove that you must meet strength with greater strength?
Well, no, I think that what we're doing now is we are using diplomacy. Ultimately, we know that just bombing your way out of this will not create a peaceful situation in the Middle East. So diplomacy has always been something that I've advocated, and what we've not been able to do to this point was to get an agreement on both sides. Diplomacy is always much harder and takes generally longer than just simply bombing or the military strikes. So we're at that point now, I think, and hopefully we can get across the tracks with an agreement that will make a substantial difference in the Middle East, where we can bring some true peace. And what's important,
well, Congressman, as you can,
really important, is that all of the Gulf countries, and along with the Pakistanis, are all involved in this. Our allies in Europe all agree with the 20-point plan. So we're at a point where, you know, you're talking about hostages being released and humanitarian aid getting in. This is what we want. And then trying to stabilize the region, rebuilding Gaza for the Palestinians without Hamas being in control of anything. So this is a very good but hard work. And I think there's still hard work to be done. But that's the way diplomacy works.